We'll just give the cameras in the back just a moment. You guys good? All right, Coach, whenever you're ready.
All right, before we get going here, I think there's a handful of things to cover. First of all, I want to thank our fans. I think this is the largest average attendance we've had for a home season since 2015, right around 87,000 on average. And they made an impact tonight. There's no question about it. And really, this group of seniors is deserving of that, you know. Can't have a good football team unless you've got some maturity amongst your seniors, some presence, some ownership, some leadership. We've got a handful of players in this group in particular that I think have been difference makers. It's certainly good that we were able to make a memory for that group, right? A positive memory for that group. So, and I also want to say that this week has been really impactful to our team and staff, saluting those who serve. We were intentional about getting people around our players that have served in the military, and people that are in leadership positions that really, sometimes I think if those things are out of sight, out of mind, we take those things for granted. So we're very thankful for those people who participated this week, and certainly all the people across the country that are doing just that. So great memory for the seniors. Can't compliment the staff enough, just from a leadership standpoint. And then amongst the players, right, there's an ownership that's different, right? And I think that the football's improving because the people are improving. And there's a brotherhood in that room. There's a connection in that room. And I think they're starting to play the game with the right intent, right? Getting consumed on what they can do to help the team. Then the individuals play better and the result is better. So a lot of good out there. Still a handful of plays that are not quite what we're looking for. But it's good to start fast, get control, and keep control to some degree. What questions we got?
I will open with Edgar.
So Billy, the defense has gone 6 quarters without giving up an offensive touchdown. The unit just seems to be playing with this energy and gang tackling and stuff. Right. What kind of light went on for that?
Yeah, no, I think that done a good job of sticking with and getting consumed with the process of preparing to play to play. I do think the staff has done a terrific job making tweaks. We've improved in certain statistic areas that were not up to par, not the standard. But again, I go back to, I keep saying this, I know y'all don't like to talk about these things, but the people are improving, the football's improving. I mean, there's just a different approach. I think that guys are playing the game with the right intent, with respect for the game, understanding that this game is not about individuals, right? That if you want to have individual success, you get consumed on what you can do to help the team. You work hard on the role that you've been given. You prepare a certain way, and there's a certain part of this game. There's a human element to this game, right? I mean, that's what makes it a special game. We got hundreds of people that contribute to that out there. Not just the defensive players that contribute. There's lots of people that impact the player's ability to perform. So goes back to the intangible parts of the team, and I think that's ultimately the difference.
You've mentioned the standard here is higher than just qualifying for a bowl game, but how important is it that you guys got that 6th win and are going to get this postseason bid?
Yeah, I mean, those things are good. I mean, I would like to think that that we go to a bowl. I mean, I'm not really worried about a bowl game. I'm worried about getting that group to keep improving. You can worry about, that's not how we do it, right? I mean, you get consumed with the things that you can do better, being more efficient, having better relationships, being better communication, better fundamentals. all these things that contribute to winning.
Matt Baker?
Hey, Billy, congrats. You keep talking about the people getting better, so help me understand that better. What are little things that you're seeing that are helping translate to out there? Is it just more film study? Help me understand that.
No, I just think that, the character, the consistency of the character of an individual, it's easier to respect an individual when you see consistency from a person, right? Like you see them really trying, right? You can't fool players, and you certainly can't fool your teammates, right? So I think that there's been ownership at that level, right? There's been leadership, right? There's been challenges made, right? They know who's doing their part and who's not. They know who can do better. And I think that you finally have gotten to a point where players are basically taking the bull by the horns to some degree. You don't have a good football team unless it's players make a team, right? And I think that some of those things are missing, to be quite honest, right? I think we've seen the growth in some of those areas, and I think it's affected how they play.
Mark Long?
Speaking of growth, the run game the last 2 weeks, almost 400 yards on the ground, 374, I think, today. Is there any more room there? I mean, it seems to be really, really close to about getting about everything you can out of them.
Yeah, no, I think that it's what we've done in the past, and it's what we're good at, right? So I think you got to play to the strengths of your team. It's unfortunate we turned the ball over there at the end. We played 4 games in a row without a turnover. Penalties, or minimize that part. We're getting takeaways on defense. But I think that, this game in particular, if you take a good look at how you beat South Carolina, you got to win the line of scrimmage and the edges, right? You got to rush the ball effectively, and you got to stop the run. We certainly did that today. That was the challenge in the week. Win the turnover margin, win the rush part of the game, and special teams, obviously a big part of the game as well. We screwed that up a little bit, and certainly some things we can do better there, but we did what we needed to win the game.
Is that all that was missing from this being a complete game that we talked about earlier in the week? Offense was great, defense was great.
Yeah, I thought our operation on offense was a little sloppy at times, maybe things you guys don't see, but when we make mistakes that have nothing to do with the other team, those are things that I get. So we made a handful of errors tonight that I think we can clean up. The kicking game in particular, I thought was a little sloppy. But they're good. I mean, they work hard at it. They invest time in it. They've got really good people leading that area of their team. They work at it, and they're good at it. So, we botched the field goal. They blocked the field goal. We gave up a fake punt for a touchdown. Those are the 3 plays I'm thinking about right off the top of my head.
Cameron Brockwick?
Yeah, Coach, it's senior day, but there were a couple of freshmen out there. Obviously, Trevor Etienne, he's been doing it all season, and Caleb Douglas. Just what kind of building blocks are they for the future, and maybe in particular even Caleb stepping up today with Shorter being out?
Yeah, both those young men are talented young players. Trevor obviously has gotten more experience early in the year. You can see he has physical ability, but the impressive thing about him is he is humble. He's very smart. He's got really good character. He is a good teammate. He's a leader, believe it or not. That guy's a leader, right? Like amongst the players, he will call a guy out. He's that kind of guy, right? So, I think it's one thing when they're a good player. It's another thing when they're a good player and they're smart and they're mature and they got leadership traits. He does have that. So, Caleb Douglas continues to get better with experience. He's been productive. He's got a huge ceiling, right? Like that guy's going to get better and better. So it's another kid who comes from a great family. who has character, who's a very consistent worker. You know, he's a good young player. He's only going to get better from here.
Nick? Well, you probably haven't even thought about this yet, but when you think back to this senior class and how they bought in and how they led when you were trying to build and lay down a foundation, what do you think you'll hold in your mind about this class and what they meant to the first year in your program?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's hard on young people, right, to go through change, right, and these guys, they've had a rough run at it, you know, when you think about what they've been through, ups and downs, right, there's been a lot of good things, but there's also been some tough things. So anytime you have change, the uncertainty that comes with that, they embrace the work. I can't compliment that enough about this group of players and these seniors in particular. They work, you know, they love to compete. It's a small group, truth be known, when you really look at it big picture-wise. So there's some key components. I mean, Ventrell Miller is as good of a human being as I've been around in my career. You know, I can't compliment him enough. His ability to affect the other players, his consistency as a person, right? Like there's no wavering on his words, his actions, you know, his care for other people. Like he's an old soul, man. I mean, he has the ability to see the big picture and really care for other people. Very unique player, and he's a heck of a football player. So he in particular is one that I'll remember for sure.
Billy, a couple of weeks ago, after the Georgia game, you said you thought maybe we had turned a corner. And what you're seeing in these last couple of ball games, are you seeing that it really has happened, that you have turned that corner that you've been looking for?
Well, I think we're getting better. You know, I think we're always a work in progress, right? But this is something that can go away, right? It can disappear if you forget why it's happening, right? That's the key, that we learn these lessons, you know, that we continue to apply the same approach. You know, sometimes your ego can get the best of you, right? You lose sight of, okay, hey, why is it actually working, right? We got to keep our humility, we got to keep our edge. But I do think that we're making progress, you know. I believe that.
Just 2 questions. We'll go to Alan and then Zach.
What popped on the Trevor touchdown? It looked like it had a good seal from Kingsley, but you're probably thinking that's a 9 or 10-yard run, right? Did you think it might go 80 plus?
Yeah, no, those guys up front they're awesome. I mean, and we had a key block by a receiver. We had a key block. You know, Ant made the right decision to hand the ball off instead of pitch the sweep. You know, and they were in a bare front, and we got them hooked, you know, and it came out of there. So we're going to give him – he did have the finishing speed to get it done, although he did get hawked down. Players are giving him a hard time. But when you rush the ball effectively, in particular with how we do it, every position group is contributing to that, right? I mean, receivers blocking their tail off out there, line of scrimmage, the edges by the tight ends, the read game with the quarterback, and then all the perimeter screen and perimeter RPO stuff. I mean, there's not a run out there where Ant's not deciding, should I throw it here, should I throw it there, I got to read this guy. I mean, it's one of the reasons we're successful. And then his ability to rush the ball is, I think Kitna, it gets overlooked, but Kitna's growth allows you to be more comfortable with Ant, you know, doing some of the things he's doing here as of late. So a lot of people contribute when you rush the ball effectively.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is Anthony running behind his pads more than he was earlier in the season, like finishing runs with a little more physicality?
Yeah, I think he's just growing as an individual player. You know, I mean, you know, the physical traits are there with Ant. You know, what I'm proud of is I think he is growing as a leader, right? He is getting comfortable with his role, you know, his voice, being intentional about connecting with his teammates, right? His example, how to prepare during the week. how to have the self-discipline and be consistent in his approach, and then to speak with clarity and conviction, right? I think he's 20 years old, man. The game, I mean, I know we all put the crown on him early and all that, but he's really just a guy that's working extremely hard to do his job for the team, and and part of that job when you're the quarterback at this level and at this place is the leadership component. It's connecting with others. It's being thankful for all the people that contribute to your team. And I think he's walking around with intent in those areas, and I think it's helping him.
Billy, one guy who got his hands on the baller baton tonight was Desmond Watson. Can you just talk about his turnover and the athleticism he showed on that play?
Big Des, man. You know, I always tell the players, I want the officials to warn me, right? I want you to celebrate with your teammates. I want the sideline energy. I want you to be creative. Okay, but that was next level stuff there, right? I mean, we got a warning, but rightfully so, man. The guy just ripped it out of his hands, and that's a 440-pound man trying to run with that ball, right? So 6'5.5". I'm proud of Des. You know, he's come a long way, and let me tell you, he's only going to get better. I really believe that.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.
They put him in an art gallery already.
Oh, yeah, of course they do.
Thanks, Billy.
All right.
How we doing? Alright.
Good, you guys in the back? All right. You're joined by Ventrell Miller. We'll start with Nick Latore, you right?
Year 7, out of the question or on the table?
Man, that when my coach been all trying to offer me NIL deals to keep me, but I tell him, nah, it's my time to go though. I had my fun here, so yeah.
What was it like for you today to see Mom, see your family when you come out, take a picture with Billy, and then just to see them and kind of start thinking about everything you've been through here?
I feel like I was just taking it all in. Just my last time walking out that swamp, just taking it all in. Seeing the fans cheer for me, it was a great feeling. Great to take the tunnel, go to the tunnel the last time in the swamp.
And then since that tough love you talked about in College Station, defense hasn't given up a point.
Yeah.
Do you think you made your point in the locker room then?
Yeah, most definitely. I remember we had a little team meeting Thursday. And I let the guys know how I felt about this game, how this game real emotional for me. I broke down and all out there Thursday to them boys. And like I said, I was just happy to see how they came out and dominated on defense especially.
On that note, I think you had 6 tackles for loss as a team in the first 2 series for South Carolina. Do you feel like you guys kind of set the tone for the day there?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Going into this game, it was like, we know we started slow, Texas A&M, so starting fast, that was the goal of this game, and those guys definitely came out and did that, and I appreciate them boys for sending me out the right way.
Hey, Ventrell, talk about those turnovers to start the second half. You ever been, in a string of turnovers like that?
Man, I said they made my job a lot easier. We was on the field and off, so I felt good. Having turnover, we created a lot of turnovers. Yeah, I'm definitely proud of those boys, but never been in one every time like that. I ain't gonna lie.
How much are the turnovers stressed in practice with this coaching staff?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a point of emphasis every week. We know turnovers win ball games, so we definitely try to go out there and get turnovers every game.
Gotcha. Real quick, guys, we have Jonathan Oda and Cyrus Torrance available in the corners.
Antoine got a sack for second straight week. Well, what has he meant in the edge replacing practice?
Man, he's just a guy that stepped up. Definitely a talented guy. He's gonna go hard regardless. Like you said, he's one of those guys that wanted to come out there and do it for the seniors. So he definitely showed up big time, and proud of him, the way he stepped up.
Desmond gets the strip and the fumble, and watching him talk about watching him try to run with the football.
Man, that was a funny thing going into the sideline. Just asking him how you get tackled by the quarterback. You 500-something pounds, you get tackled by the quarterback. But it was definitely exciting to see him get the ball, see what he could do with it for a little bit. I seen him. He switched the ball and all. I seen him.
As a senior, this game right here, how happy are you to leave the program where it is with all the freshmen and like all the underclassmen who for the future?
Definitely. I feel like we're in great hands with Coach Nate. The younger guys, they've done a great job just stepping up. So I feel like we're in the best hands. So.
Just now you don't have to wait to the Florida State game to go qualify for a bowl. What are your feelings? And, watching this team grow from the beginning to now, what are your feelings about that?
I'm feeling pretty good about this team. I feel like we got a special group of guys. And just from the Texas A&M game, we just been emphasizing just winning out, basically. And we focus on each week. We're going hard at practice, and those guys, like I said, been stepping up, doing a great job at practice, flying around. So can't be more proud of those guys.
You guys now won back-to-back conference games. Coach Napier talked about how maybe even with a loss to Georgia, y'all have turned the corner. Do you really believe everybody in the locker room believes y'all have turned the corner now?
Most definitely. I could just see the energy at practice, just how everybody decided to come out there and do their job from scout team all the way on to the guys that start. Like I said, it's just been a different energy at practice, and you could tell when we come in the game, for real.
Last year, that team y'all just beat, they put y'all down by 200 rushing yards. Y'all outran them by 300. What's that mean for this team to get that pride back?
Nah, I feel good. Like I said, we definitely touched on that, how they embarrassed us last year. So to come out and do what we did, it feels good. And I know some of those guys like Dexter made a point of emphasis, said they didn't really play good. The D-line didn't play good last year. And just to see how they just barred out this game, the D-line was going crazy. So they definitely stepped up and they held on to their word. So appreciate those guys.
Time for one more guy for Ventrell. Appreciate it, man.
Thank y'all so much. Already. Next up.
Let me know when you guys are good in the back. Good? All right, guys. Joined by Anthony Richardson. Mark, if you want to open up. Oh, Edgar will start.
So that running game you guys have going now, how formidable does that make this team?
That's always been a staple of ours, just moving the ball. Because as you guys can tell, we're a 50-50 offense. We got to run the ball, we got to pass the ball. So just getting the run game going, that's been a blessing for us.
So did you know you were over 100 yards and then ended up under 100?
I did. I was talking to the running backs, and I was telling them, like, bro, I'm up there with y'all. And then, I got sacked. I got to help the O-line out a little bit and move around the pocket better. But, we won, so that's good.
You made a lot of strides this season. Got to ask, is this your last game in the Swamp?
I haven't really thought about it, After the Georgia loss, we were just trying to get the team rolling again, get back on track. So I haven't really thought about that. Just trying to win every game, now and, go win the bowl game.
What's changed with you guys? I mean, the last 6 quarters, the defense has been going, the offense has gotten it done. Talk to me. Tell me what's changed.
Nothing really. We just started playing for each other, instead of worry about wins and losses, just playing for each other. 'Cause if you can play for your brother that's next to you and, play for the coaches that's there supporting you and helping you, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun to play football. So just playing for each other has really helped us a lot.
And was that an adjustment in attitude that maybe after the Georgia game or during the Georgia game that started happening better?
I believe so. Just coming out in the first half, seeing how we played against Georgia, and talking in the locker room, that was kind of one of the things we wanted to correct and fix. Just playing for each other instead of trying to worry about who we're playing. Because once we play together, we're unstoppable.
Yeah, Caleb Douglas, obviously a guy that had to step in as a true freshman for shorter. You had a big 3rd and 15, 15-yard completion on 3rd and 10. Just how has he kind of stepped out with Justin being out?
I'm not surprised. Coach Casey does a great job, coaching the receivers. Coach Napier does a great job calling the plays and putting us in the right position to make plays. So just getting connections with those guys has been pretty much easy for me because those guys, they know their job, they know their assignment, they know what to do when they get in there. So it's just a trust thing, and I trust them to run their route and do the correct thing. So Caleb's been doing that.
And just to clarify, now that this team is bowl eligible, you definitely want to play in the bowl game?
Yeah, definitely. I'm working. Just trying to get better game by game. That's it.
With so many good things that happened for the offense in the first half that you guys were able to accomplish, what can you tell us about the last minute and a half going into the half? What was happening there?
We were just trying to be smart with the ball. Just manage the game, be smart with it. If we had a chance to go put up points, we're going to do that. But we're trying to maintain the lead, and just keep playing ball.
Anthony, talk about the touchdown run by Etienne because Coach was talking about you could have pitched out to him, you could have just handed the ball, which you did. I mean, do you see something in their defense in which you said, okay, let's do it this way and see what happens, and it just broke open for you?
With that play, I have 2 options on that: either pitch the ball on a quick guy or just hand it off to the running back. And the way they were rotated, I didn't like the pitch, so I just trusted number 7, and he took off and scored.
How satisfying is it the last 6 quarters to play the kind of complementary football that maybe you guys have strived for all year, but you're really starting to see it come together?
Like you just said, we've been trying to get this going all year, so it's definitely a blessing for us. We're more than excited just to finally be on the same page as a unit, as a team. And we're thankful that we're doing it correctly now. There's always things to improve on, and we know that. But, about time we're playing complementary football, and, we're getting dubs on our belt.
What has the offensive line unit meant to, establishing the run game and protecting you as well?
Those are my guys, I love those guys. We joke around with each other, show a lot of love to each other whenever we can, So just trusting them to do their job, just communicating with them, talking to them, letting them know that we do want to run the ball, because that is a staple in our offense. So just those guys believing in us to get the ball past the line of scrimmage and make big plays, it makes it easier for them to just move the pile, and that's all they got to do for us.
You're 2-0 in the month of November. How important is it now to be you're halfway there and going 4-0 the rest of the way?
Ever since that Georgia loss, we're talking about being 5-0. Just week by week, just trying to be 1-0 that week. So we're just working. Just trying to get better, trying to improve game by game. Just trying to get 1-0 every week.
Any more questions, guys? I got one going in the back.
Anthony, since the beginning of the summer, right, when we talked at SEC Media Day, you talked about taking on this role, becoming a leader. How do you feel that your confidence is now compared to where it was when you were going to start taking reps as a starter for this team?
I think I definitely improved as a leader. Coach Nate pushes me all the time. Coach O'Hara pushes me all the time to be a leader. Even the players, they push me to become a better leader. So that's something I take into account and try to grow with that every day, every minute I can. So I think I've improved. There's always room for improvement. So I'm going to continue to try to get better at that. But I think I've grown a lot.
And last year, you guys got outrushed by 200 yards in the loss, right, which you couldn't play in. Tonight, y'all outrushed by 300 yards. How much pride do you take in leading this offense over your opponents you guys got some payback for?
Honestly, that kind of surprised me. In the first half, we had a lot of rushing yards, and I didn't really know that we had that many because it didn't seem like it. But, we were clicking. The O-line and the running backs and myself, we were kind of on point. And the defense, they held their own. So we had no choice but to do our job. So it kind of shocked me, but, hey, I'm glad we got the ball moving.
We'll close with Edgar here in front.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the defense, but what about Dez? You got a couple moves from him? This is a nice little stiff arm he threw out there.
I went and talked to Dez. I'm like, bro, how you get tackled by him? But, hey, Dez made a play. Shout out to him. He kind of shocked me when I seen him switching the ball and stiff arming people. But,
Right.
Shout out to Dez for making a big play.
Yeah, you just
Celebrated pretty heavy. What if he would have actually scored? Like, what would that celebration have been like?
We probably would have ran in the locker room. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
You got follow-up, Edgar?
No, I'm good. That was good.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Sorry to be a pest with some of those questions. Gotta ask.
We'll trade Dean in a second. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to finish up with Trey Dean. Let me know when the camera in the back is good. Good. All right. Lauren?
Trey, when you reflect on your time here at Florida and getting a win in your last home game, just what are your thoughts now that you've played your last game in the Swamp?
Well, really, words really can't explain. It's been a blessing to play in the Swamp, be a part of DBU. It's been something I want to be a part of since I was a little kid, and to achieve that goal, just a blessing.
And with 6 scoreless, basically quarters without giving up an offensive touchdown, has it been a conscious effort, just an improvement on defense, or what clicked with this group?
Well, before I had made the decision to come back, I knew that this whole coaching staff had a great plan, and I knew once it clicked, I knew it was going to be a sight to see. So we came out the last half of Texas A&M, and then this whole game has been a great sight to see. So Coach Napier and his staff did a great job, and now it's showing.
Trey, final home game for you and Ventrell Miller. Just describe your relationship with him, what you two have gone through the last few years, and just overall what it meant to get a win tonight with him.
Well, we knew that Gator Nation was going to be behind our back, whatever ever happened. So we knew that it was going to be it'd been a great sight for us to see end the season with a home win. You know what I'm saying? Just really breathtaking. You know, the Swamp was packed, sold out, and like I said, ain't no other place like the Swamp. You know, I'm glad to be a Gator, and I'm glad to, you know, to play this game, actually be a part of DBU.
Ventrell said halftime at College Station, there was some tough love. And Jonathan said kind of like guys in their position groups kind of just took over. Where do you think this team has grown and kind of that accountability where the coaches don't even have to do anything now, it's players stepping up?
Well, when you have player accountability, that's when you're going to attack to the next level. So then now your coach is just, you know, overseeing everything. So now players know, hey, I know you got my back, I got your back. And we go out there and execute, make plays, and it shows.
You talked about being like the legacy of DBU. For you, obviously, as a senior, looking at the younger guys, for this group of the DBs in the program, how excited are you for their future?
Oh, I'm super excited. You know, them young guys go to work every day, you know what I'm saying? Actually being part of DBU, you know, each and every one of us could play, but them young guys, they're going to come out, especially Kamari and Miguel, they're going to come out each and every day, you know, compete every day, and it's going to be a great sight to see. So in the future, DBU going to be real good.
Just a basic question, obviously, with you being, you know, not going to play any more games in the Swamp. Do you have a favorite memory from playing here at Ben Hill-Griffin Stadium over the last 5 years?
Shoot, the Swamp is, like I said, it's second to none. So every time I run up that Swamp, it's really breathtaking. So I got all type of memories in the Swamp, but the last one was really good.
And then you're going to be a rare guy who is going to go to 5 bowl games in their career, 5 for 5. What does that mean to get that 6th win tonight and, you know, go bowling?
Well, you know, it feels good. You know, when you put that Gator logo on it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to make a bowl game. So that was really second nature. So when I knew I signed my letter of intent, I knew I was going to be playing a lot of big games.
There's been times where this defense has struggled, and you know, you've transitioned from a cornerback to safety position, and it feels like over the past few games you've really started to get, you know, in a mode where you're just making plays left and right. What can you say about your progression throughout this season and just your career overall?
Well, when I came back, decided to come back to the school and put my, you know, God allowed me to have great people like Coach Napier and his staff. It really, you know, I knew it was going to click. It wasn't no doubt in my mind that each and every time I went up on that field, they was going to put me in a position to make plays. You know, Coach Napier and his staff are great coach, and I really love them to the bottom of my heart. You know, they teach me different things every game, and now it's really showing on the field. So I was really thinking it's going to keep showing. I promise you that.
Yeah, outside of the punter becoming a Heisman Trophy hopeful as a quarterback, you know, that one play, everything, was it as perfect a first half as you guys have played this year in a while, just to set the tone like that?
Well, you know, like, you know, numbers speak everything, you know, speak facts. And, like, when you surround the team by great coaches, and you're going to put your the players in the right position to make plays, it's going to show sooner or later. And, you know, Coach Napier and his staff, they hold us accountable each and every week. And I knew it was going to click. You know, it wasn't on my doubt in my mind. I knew when it clicked, I said, you know, whoever we playing, they're going to be in trouble.
All right. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Trey.
My mom, my dad, my sister.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.